Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the bishops, and the elders of GMS who rules well. Peace and salutations to the elect. My name is Ainon. The title of the video is Possible False Flag Event with IDF, ICE, and Black Panthers. Basically, let me grab this scripture. This is Obadiah 1 and 6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All right. 2 Corinthians 2 and 11, it says, "Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, but we are not ignorant of his devices." Right. Ultimately, I speak as a man, but what's unfolding now looks to be, a false flag event. Of course, right? Because you have things that like what happened in Australia. And I think the biggest example is what just recently happened in Iran. Donald Trump said if Iran, kills protesters, they're going to go in there hard. And then, you can't make this shit up. Literally the next day or within the next week, whatever the case may be, that's what started happening. But we know it was because, people there, civilians actually had weapons and they were shooting at the soldiers. Right. So all this information came out, which was another false flag event, but it was something that was planned. So what's happening now is that you see the uproars of the people, right? Pursuant to grab it over here. The scriptures, the uproars of the people, and what they're asking for is basically they're not doing enough. They're not doing enough, they're not doing enough. So the sentiment of we need to take up arms and we need to do something is already there. This is 2 Ezra chapter 9, verse 1. It says, "He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I've told thee before, then shalt thou understand that is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Right? For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, the end is manifest. Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works and endings and effects and signs." So we're witnessing the effects and signs of the end. That's why the whole world is on fire. Right? And the people is uproaring, right? And calling that we're not doing enough. We need to really show them that we're serious. So they're talking about carrying weapons to these protests. And lo and behold, Black Panthers enter, into the situation. And what you also have what? You have the IDF, right? The soldiers training ICE agents. And some of those ICE agents are even IDF. But then you also have what? A lot of cannon fodder joining, right? Expandable people, like a lot of our own people, right? And I'm getting to all the scriptures, but they can easily have Black Panthers shoot so-called ICE, and it's not, it's something they set up. You have Jake and Chinaman, let's just say Jake and Chinaman join ICE, and they like, okay, yeah, cool, yeah, go. This is your post, and then the post is surrounded by Black Panthers. Now Black Panther shoots them. But it'll be like a bigger thing, so they can bring out the chaos, right? Order out of chaos is how they work. So it's easy for them to pull this trigger right now. If you get what I'm saying, regarding, and I got some videos here because you have, like I said, an easy opportunity for a false flag event to happen with IDF, ICE, right? These Israeli individuals here behind the scenes, pulling the strings, with a master plan. All right, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. It's kind of clear. This is 2 Ezra 15 and 14. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands." At this point, it's all a matter of just pushing a button and saying, go ahead with Plan Z, or whatever plan they got, because it's all in place. It says, for there shall be sedition among men, This is what's happening, right? Talking about the overthrowing the government. They need to take up force, and all these different things, which we know that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, right? But mighty through Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, to the pulling down the strongholds. So we use the scriptures and teach this word to bring about the message of these devils' downfall. We don't take up arms, right? And go out there and march against the government or anything like that. We don't have to do that. They're gonna fall because Yahushai, Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai is gonna make them fall. Okay. So it says, "For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." Right. And you already had like people shooting at JD Vance's house, people attacking like National Guard troops. So all these little events that has been happening. So the time is ripe for them to do this. And they're calling, the people are calling for sedition. Now, I think one of these videos I got, the guy actually speaks about it. So pretty much that's the point, that I'm trying to point to. Like I said, I speak as a man, and we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. I can't say for sure that they're going to do this, but basically, if they didn't do it, they'd be stupid. So this video, he's going to talk about the fact that Black Panthers are here. So this video is just showing you that, basically the Black Panthers are back, And I heard the elder brother Yashawamba say, that they were basically they were compromised, and now they're back, and more than likely it was Esau Edom that put them out there. All right.
Currency. America is losing everything. We're losing our allies. Trump just said he's putting tariffs on every single nation that will defend Greenland against our invasion. We are waging a war on the entire planet, and our fascist dictator believes that he can win because of his nuclear arsenal. That's where we're at. Now, usually I'm a lot more geeked up. I'm a lot more crazy, but I'm afraid. I am afraid that I will not be able to raise children in this nation. I'm afraid I will never be able to buy a home. I'm afraid that if I did have children, I would be raising them in a nation where slave catchers will knock on their door and demand to see their paperwork. And even if they do have the paperwork, they will claim it is fake. I can't help you. I'm doing everything that I can to ring these fucking alarm bells. I've got friends, boots on the ground in Minnesota, fundraising so that they got the right, gear, and that they got transportation and housing, and we're doing everything we fucking can. But we're up against Elon Musk. He's a trillionaire, and that's one man. That doesn't include the rest of the people surrounding Donald. If you combined it, it's probably like $2 or $3 trillion we're up against. $2 or $3 trillion, and that's not including the money embedded within the federal government. It's not including the strongest military on planet Earth, the United States military. All of that is in their disposal. It's absolutely fucking horrifying. Anyway, hi, how are you? I don't mean to be such a Debbie Downer. I'm Chris Valenti. This is the Valenti VOD. Running territory.
All right, so I just want to say that part. The guy is terrified, right? With what's happening here in Babylon. Let me see. I'm trying to think of a scripture. Okay. I can read this one. I was looking for the one that says the shaking of the hand. The Most High Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. I was also thinking about the one that says, "Who can turn, back in Archer?" That the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai shot, basically. Was it try 6 over here? All right, so let me get the scripture and then I'll look those scriptures up. All right, this is Isaiah 14:24. It says, "The Lord Yahweh Bashmiel shall of hosts have sworn, saying, Surely as I have thought, so shall it come to pass, and as I have proposed, so shall it stand. That I will break the Assyrian in my land, and upon my mountains tread him underfoot. Then shall his yoke depart from off them, right, off of the elect, right, Israelites. It says, and his burden depart from off their shoulders. This is the purpose that is proposed against upon the whole earth, and this is the hand that is stretched out upon all the nations. For the Lord Yahweh Bashmal shall of hosts have proposed, and who shall disannul it? And his hand is stretched out, and who shall turn it back? And the year the king of Ahaz died was this burden, right? So let me grab these scriptures real quick. I was thinking about. I'm also thinking about another one in Amos. So I'll probably grab that one first. So Amos 3:6, because he's fearful. This is Amos 3:6. It says, "Shall a trumpet be blown in a city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in a city, and the Lord Yahweh Bashmawashai have not done it?" And ultimately, that's the point. Something is happening. The Lord Yahweh Bashmawashai, has done it. It says, the issues of death belong to Yahweh Bashmawashai, right? So we understand and know who's controlling the things happening. So let me see if I can find it. The shaking of the hand of the Lord. All right. So I'll get it from 16. It says Isaiah 19:16. I'll just get it from 14, because ultimately this is what this guy is feeling, what he's talking about. This is Isaiah 19:14. It says, "The Lord Yahweh Bashmawashai have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do." Right? Ultimately, no work in the land, and that's what he's talking about. He's afraid. He's afraid for his children. It says NLT, "There is nothing Egypt can do. All are helpless. The head and the tail, the noble palm branch and the lowly reed." It says, "And that day shall Egypt be like unto woman, and it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord Yahweh Bashmal shall host, which he shaketh over." And it's beautiful precept there, right? And that's the point. That's what this dude is feeling. So I'll leave that right there. Go back to the video here. And now he's going to get into the point that they're not doing anything, and he's saying the only people that are doing something is basically the Black Panthers.
That is controlled by Denmark. Thank you for the $10. Do you think it's naive to still have hope for America's future? Yes. I'm sorry. I'm not going to lie to you. I do think it is naive to have hope for America's future. I am a revolutionary optimist, and I have hope in a future. I do not have hope in America's future. The system is not broken. The system is working as intended. The system is working perfectly as designed. It is not broken. That's the problem. A liberal will tell you, oh, the system's broken. It's not. Everything they're doing are these perfectly placed loopholes that were designed for them to jump through. And all it took was a regime cruel enough to do it. And they're doing it.
And that's also Isaiah 19, where it said a cruel Lord will rule over them. All right. Yeah, get it up here. Right, we get it all the time. Isaiah 19 and 4, it says, "And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashmawashai, the Lord of hosts." All right.
There's no authoritative body to stop these fucking people. You want to know who's standing up? You want to know who's fighting back? The fucking Black Panthers are. The fucking Black Panthers are the only people who are fighting back. Like it's fucking 1965.
Run up on me. Won't no ICE agent ever run up on me. I guarantee you that when I put a hole in their chest the size of a window, safe line repair, safe line replace, that's what's gonna happen. They touch me. Unarmed woman was killed by ICE. If you think you're about to come and brutalize the people while we're standing here, fuck around and find out. Our interactions with the police and ICE, and we hold them accountable. We hold them accountable. We patrol the community and we hold them accountable. The Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, we're the same Panther Party from back in the day, but we're a little more aggressive now. You did carry bigger guns and we don't take no shit. In places where there are a lot of immigrants at, I think that the community around them needs to take special care to them and needs to start escorting them to and from everywhere to make sure that they're safe. Because them ICE agents ain't gonna act like that if it's a bunch of people standing outside with assault rifles and shotguns. It's a semi-automatic shotgun. That means some shotgun shells to shoot out of a pump, they shoot them rapidly. If you are gonna legally arm yourself with something bigger than what they got. Those who serve in the public, they should be fearful of the public. They should be fearful that the public's gonna be dissatisfied with their job that they're doing, not feeling like.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I don't know how people can listen to that and still cling on to this state of normalcy. Our nation is fucking collapsing. It is collapsing. There is a slave catching patrol going door to door. Show me your papers. And of course, the only fucking people who have the balls to grab a couple of guns and stand there are the black men. Always. It's never the fucking white men. It's never the fucking Proud Boys. It's never any of these fucking white people who have the audacity to stand up to the government. I'm gonna cling on to my Second Amendment, man, for the tyrannical government. You know who it is? It's the black people. Every fucking time. Fucking white man is just such a pathetic coward. All right, back to the Greenland news.
All right, that was funny as hell. All right, so as you can see, the Black Panthers are back, right? And it's looking like a major false flag event is going to happen, you know, and that's why ICE is allowing these troops or these different people to join up, you know, and, you know, join up in, you know, like they're recruiting them basically. So let me play this part right here. That's what it's 1 and 2.
According to an internal document reviewed by the Washington Post. So they're spending $100 million to recruit the most annoying motherfuckers that you've ever met. Like, you know, those fucking like the guys who were like, well, I never joined the military because if I did, I would have ended up punching my drill sergeant in the face. Those fucking bastards, like the morbidly obese, bald motherfuckers who blame black people and women for all of their problems. Well, they're about to fall for like the most obvious propaganda campaign in American fucking history. There was one other thing I wanted to show you if I can find it. I'm really hoping that I can. I might not be able to. Yes. Here's
Trump's Gestapo.
A whole bunch of unmasked ICE agents.
Here's Trump's Gestapo.
And I'm doing this because I want the public to see their fucking faces because maybe one of you will recognize them. You got to remember, ICE is your friends. ICE is your local police officer. ICE is your local judge. ICE consists of people around you, and you know, we want to know who they are. So here's a whole bunch of ICE agents and their faces.
Dun, 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 dun.
This is a new ICE training facility in San Diego, and these are the newcomers, and we're going to look at their fucking faces. Hopefully somebody here can recognize them.
Trump's Gestapo. Here it is, you guys. We've got the new folks coming in. We're ready to be out there. You guys.
There's always one. There's always fucking one. There's always one black guy who thinks that he's doing the right thing by serving his nation. Brother, you are literally a chicken for KFC. You are advocating for the dissolvement of the minority population. Do you think they're going to save you? You think that you're going to be the one that they're like, oh, no, he's one of the good ones. You're out of your fucking mind, bro. They're going to come for you next.
Stand up for it, right? You guys ready for that life? Y'all ready?
Look at this fucking guy. Could you imagine this fucking guy detaining you?
That new life? Hunting humans? That's what you got trained to do today, hunt humans? Welcome to San Diego, boys. You the new ICE agents that are going to be in our neighborhoods? Terrorizing our neighborhoods? Is that what you guys are here for? You think just because you're new, you're not going to be found out about? Hunting humans? That's what you signed up?
Yeah, so all these guys are cannon fodder. All right. They're just cannon fodder for the false flag event they're gonna use to say that the people are attacking Trump's Gestapo and for Trump to basically come out with that insurrection act. Like I said, I don't know if they'll do that, but it's something they could do, because we have IDF training, which I'm gonna get to, but this is Isaiah 30:1. It says, "Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashmel Shai." And mind you, Black Panthers is pretty much doing the same thing, by going in there and being basically, compromised in some way, shape, or form, whether it be like the head, of it, which we don't know. There's nothing that came out, saying that they are, but it's a possibility, right? But they're gonna clash, regardless of what. Obviously, they're gonna clash. Isaiah 31 says, "Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashmel Shai, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, that walk to go down into Egypt," right? Egypt, America. It says, "And have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion." Right? Ultimately, they joined up with the enemy, trusting in the enemy, going over there and I think ISIS getting like 200,000 a year, with a 50,000 signing bonus, So this is Isaiah 38, jumping down again. It says, "Now go, write it before them in a table and note it in a book, that it may be for the time to come forever and ever, that this is a rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the law of the Lord Yahweh Bashmel Shai, which say to the seer, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits. Get you out of the way, turn aside out of the path, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us." Right? So they don't want to hear anything about Yahweh Bashmel Shai. Right? And even what is it? Ecclesiastes chapter 12. Never trust our enemy. It says, wherefore, thus said the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word and trust in oppression and perverseness and stay thereon. So you trust in Esau, Edom, right? "Therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly and at an instant." Yeah, they're going to easily, send some ICE agents to a certain location to get mowed down as brave American, whatever, mowed down by the Black Panthers or however the case may be, so they can bring in what they really want, which is martial law, and all of these different things, the Insurrection Act, all of that. All right. So it says, and he shall break it as the breaking of the potter's vessel that is broken in pieces. He shall not spare, so that there shall not be found in it the bursting of it, a shred to take fire from the hearth, or to take water without out of the pit. Yeah, basically get obliterated, So pretty much that's what they got coming for them. This is Isaiah 31:1. It says, "Woe to them that go down into Egypt for help, and stay on horses, and trust in chariots, because they are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord Yahweh Bashmel Shai. Yet he also is wise, and will bring evil, and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of the evildoers, and against the help of them that work iniquity." Now the Egyptians are men and not God, and their horses flesh and not spirit. When the Lord Yahweh Bashmel Shai shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they shall fall together. Right. So ultimately they're gonna bring the pressure and the problems, and Esau is ultimately gonna fall, and you that's helping Esau is gonna fall. These different people, signing up to go there. Yeah. And now we're having reports that ICE is they're being trained by IDF. So not all of them, of course. Some of them is getting 47 days of training probably here in America, whatever the case may be, but certain individuals, like the heads and whatnot, will be trained by IDF, with different tactics and whatnot. You have like your heads, and then like a squadron. Let's just say you got like 10 guys, and one of them is the head. That dude would be like a IDF soldier or whatnot, or trained by the IDF. He's telling his men how to do it. And if you don't do it, then you basically fired or whatever the case may be. All right, so here's that right here with this guy explaining. Basically explaining that they train with Israeli military, right? IDF. ICE operations exposed. They train with Israeli military, IDF.
I just figured this out, verified it. This is not a guess, it's a verifiable fact. ICE trains with IDF. Yes, Israeli Defense Force. ICE, a U.S. law enforcement agency, trains with Israel. And this is verified in multiple ways. You can look it up in Google, you can look it up in AI, and a retired Green Beret whistleblower is what we're about to review right now.
I have been to Israel where ICE agents and DEA agents and other three-letter agencies train with the Israelis, and they bring those tactics back here. Families are suffering every day. The oppression that we export, we bring it right back here. Look around. We are the ones suffering. Children in Gaza are suffering. Fathers, mothers, families are suffering. We bomb boats off the coast of Venezuela. We blow up Colombians in fishing boats and say, oops. If you don't think that won't come to your neighborhood, think again.
So what am I looking at here? Am I looking at the IDF or the US? Because they look very similar to me, actually. And you know what's really interesting? I was making a video yesterday and I had what you may call a gut instinct and intuition. And I had no idea at all. I did not know this verifiable fact. Did not look it up. I'm like, something just seemed very similar to me. And I did a video about spiritual gifts kind of recently. And one of the spiritual gifts is called word of knowledge. And I believe I had that. It's like, you know something without verifying it. It's just like an instinct. And then.
All right. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Gifts of the spirit. Let me see if I can grab that for you. I know it's in 1 Corinthians or 2 Corinthians. I don't know exactly where. Let me see. Or you have fruits of the spirit. Because he said a word of mouth or something. All right, so we have Galatians 5:22. It says, but the fruit of the spirit is love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. All right, and then we go back to 1 Corinthians 12. And let me grab this in the NLT. This is 1 Corinthians 12:4. It says there are different kinds of spiritual gifts, but the same spirit is the source of them all. There are different kinds of service. And I didn't know this dude was gonna, bring up any scriptures or anything like that. This is 1 Corinthians 12:5. It says there are different kinds of service, but we serve the same Lord. Yahweh works in different ways, but it's the same power who does the work in all of us. A spiritual gift is given to each of us so we can help each other. To one person, the spirit gives the ability to give wise advice. So this is probably what he was talking about right here. See this in the KJV. Oh, okay, yes, he said that correctly. KJV says, "For to one is given by the Spirit the word of wisdom, to another the word of knowledge by the same Spirit." Let's read this again. 1 Corinthians 12:8, it says, "To one person the Spirit gives the ability to give wise advice, to another the same Spirit gives a message of special knowledge. The same Spirit gives great faith to another, and to someone else the one Spirit gives the gift of healing." It says he gives one person the power to perform miracles and another the ability to prophesy. He gives someone else the ability to discern whether a message is from the Spirit of Yahweh Bashar Shai or from another spirit. Still, another person is given the ability to speak in unknown languages, while another is given the ability to interpret what is being said. Right, different languages is just your different languages. You got people speaking Chinese and all the other things, right? It is the one and only Spirit who distributes all these gifts. He alone decides which gift each person should have, right? So Yahweh Bashar Shai, right? Yahweh Bashar Shai gives us the spiritual gifts, right? So he was correct. He was correct.
You're supposed to verify just to make sure you're correct, of course, because we can all make mistakes and think we know something and we don't. But I did verify it. The thing is, somebody in the comment on that video told me, they were like, yeah, they actually train together. They train together. And I'm just like, mind blown, like my gut was actually right. And I had no way to know that because I did not research it. This is a reality, folks. They train together. Now that should really concern you. That should really concern you. So continuing this video, it says learning methods of surveillance, crowd control, racial profiling, and more. You see that? They did prevent a literal doctor from treating her after the shooting. They prevented that.
Get another shot.
The practice often used by, oh my goodness, this is huge. And many people are not privy to this understanding of what's happening between the IDF and ICE. They don't know, just like I didn't know. Somebody's going to say, this is unpatriotic to attack ICE. They're U.S. law enforcement. I've gotten comments like that before. Well, look, a U.S. Army veteran is the one who's giving us this warning. They served for the U.S. They devoted their time, their energy, their being to the U.S., and they're blowing the whistle on this. Anthony Aguilar has called out how Israeli opposition tactics are being imported to the U.S., including through training programs, with immigration and customs enforcement agents now conducting an unprecedented and deadly crackdown across the U.S. under President Donald Trump.
Right, Slakia, he was correct on that scripture right there, right? And he's also giving us this information here, and we know that Donald Trump is basically the best friend of Israel, and we understand and know that these these devils over here in Israel, have a problem with the so-called black man here in America, and now we have these soldiers here, right? And some of these men are joining up with ICE to be cannon fodder, right? And that's why I said that this is a possible false flag event, right? And we just keep looking at it, and keeping our eyes on it. But I had this because they're drawing them in, to use as that cannon fodder. This is Psalm 55 and 20. It says, "He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant." So this is something that could happen to those individuals, right? Just like it tells us in Isaiah 30 that, the breach, or Isaiah 31, the breach shall come. I believe it's 30, right? The breach shall come. Like the bursting, for them not trusting in, Yahweh Bashar Shai, but trusting in Esau, right? Isaiah 30 and 13, NLT says, "Calamity will come upon you suddenly, like a bulging wall that bursts and falls. In an instant will it collapse and come crashing down." Right? AMP says, therefore, this wickedness, this sin, this injustice, this wrongdoing will be to you like a crack in a wall about to fall, a bulge in a high wall whose collapse comes suddenly in instant. Okay. So Psalms 55 and 20, he hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. And that's oh, come and get a 50,000 sign-on bonus, whatever the case may be, and join up. And really and truly, these devils don't like you, and their whole thing is to get you up out of here, right? And that's why I was talking about Ecclesiastes, Ecclesiasticus chapter 12. In 10, it says, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron and rusteth, so is his wickedness. Right? Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. Yeah, so he's more than likely setting some of these different ICE agents that don't go back to the IDF up for some type of false flag event. It says, set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Now to let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. Right? It says, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? And they believe these devils are really saying, yeah, we're trying to get the illegals out, and they didn't believe the prophets, right? They didn't believe the men of the Lord when the men of the Lord told them exactly what was happening. When they walked past on the street corner, or they heard a video, whatever the case may be, they probably scoffed. It says, so one that go up to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity? It says, for a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. Yeah, and that's the setup. You think if you end up dead, you think they're gonna send the money to your family? Because maybe these men are joining because shit is bad in America. They need the money for their family, whatever the case may be. People out here you gotta do GoFundMes, to get any type of money. That's what they did for the lady, the recent Edomite lady that got shot up about 4 times, Renee. Yeah, they started a GoFundMe, but she got like over $1 million, I believe, in counting. Because she did crash her car. I was like, okay, damn, because now she got the other, she has a child, and the lady, because there was a lesbian couple, and the car is probably total loss. So she got some money to get a new car, whatever the case may be. But anyway, America that is in. All right. So it says, for a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. And that they're waiting for opportunity. The trap is being set. It says, if adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. He will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance. All right, and that's this devil. Do something. Act like he don't know what the hell is going on. It's a tragedy. The whole time he's the tragedy, right? He caused this situation. So ultimately that's all I had. Going back to the title, possible false flag event with IDF, ICE, and Black Panthers. We're not ignorant of Satan's devices. We can clearly see these things happening. It's very likely it could happen, and no doubt that Black Panthers and ICE and IDF will clash, right? It's just inevitable at this point, because they're all out there taking to the streets. So, Lord willing, you edify from the lesson. Shalom to the whole elect, which consists of men, women, and children. Shalom.